Now, that said, we want to welcome to the program right now David Wilkins. He was the U.S. Ambassador to Canada from 2005 to 2009. He joins us right now in Washington. Ambassador, thank you for taking the time.
Great to be with you. Thank you.
So a very important day as we see Donald Trump's return to the Oval Office. I was hoping to get your reaction to some of the things that we heard in that speech from the new president, because Donald Trump, in his speech today, he did talk about expanding the United States and reviving the spirit of manifest destiny. I'm wondering what Canada should be taking from that kind of message.
Well, it was a hard-hitting, very forceful message, no question about it. He laid out a lot of specifics, particularly about the southern border and immigration. But what he didn't say is there going to be a 25% tariff imposed on Canada and Mexico. And so I think you ought to take a good feeling from that. I understand there's going to be an executive order setting forth a study by the different agencies on tariffs coming up and whether or not they'll be levied or not, but at least there's going to be some thoughtful dialogue. It tells me the White House has not really coalesced around a specific plan on certain tariffs in certain countries. So, Canada has plenty of time to work with our colleagues in the United States to formulate a plan. I would not take the speech as negative. I would take it as positive. You've been very worried, rightly so, about imposing tariffs day one. It didn't happen. There's going to be a thoughtful study committee. There's going to be dialogue. There's going to be give and take, hopefully, and hopefully we'll come up with a good solution.
And I hear what you're saying. Again, the tariffs not mentioned in today's speech, at least not specifically on Canada and the 25% tariff threat. But will this administration, do you think, have proper respect for the sovereignty of Canada when in that speech Donald Trump talks about taking back the Panama Canal, and on social media and in speeches and appearances talks about Canada becoming the 51st state? Well,
number one, the 51st state, I think it's important to take our president seriously. I don't think we necessarily have to take everything he says literally. There's not going to be any annexation attempt. There's not going to be a 51st state. Don't take that seriously. I don't think that's going to happen. American people don't take it seriously. I don't think Canadians ought to take that seriously. I think Canada and the U.S. will continue to have a strongest trade relationship the world has ever known and be each other's friend and ally. Of course, certainly Canada's being our friend now, helping us fight these horrific fires in L.A., sending planes, sending firefighters. When times are tough, we help each other out, whether it be ice storms or catastrophic hurricanes like Katrina or these terrible firestorms, wildfires in L.A. We help each other out. I think we'll continue to have that very close, helpful relationship.
Close relationship, and as you say, the tariffs present, or the very fact that they weren't raised today, presents an opportunity for Canada. So how do you see this country working with the Trump administration for mutual benefit of the two countries while preserving each other's sovereignty?
I don't think there's any doubt we can do that. I think we've shown we do that over the many decades. You certainly did it on my watch when Harper took over as prime minister in 2006, and George Bush, they met. Prime Minister Harper told President Bush he wanted softwood lumber solved. That was his number one issue. They went to work. They got it done, and 3 months later, there was a softwood lumber agreement signed by two countries that lasted 9 years.
And as you say that, we want to just tell our viewers right now, Ambassador, that we're showing the scene right now in the Capitol building, the troops getting ready to be inspected by the new president, again, just sworn in this morning. I'm wondering from your vantage point, Ambassador, are there policies you think that Canada needs to rethink in order to improve relations with the United States and this incoming administration?
Well, in my experience, when Canada and the U.S. get together, I was sitting on many bilateral discussions by Prime Minister Harper and President Bush during my 4 years as ambassador. And the U.S. tends to be focused on international issues. It might be NATO funding, for example. It might be conflicts in other parts of the world. In Canada, and this is not certainly a criticism, but Canada, rightly so, focuses on bilateral issues more often, trade issues with the U.S. And what I have found is more Canada can partner with the U.S. in addressing or solving international issues, the more the U.S. wants to work with Canada on solving their bilateral issues. And you've seen that. You certainly saw that during my time with Afghanistan, with Canada being a strong force there with the U.S. and with Great Britain. So issues we can work on together that I think will make the U.S. more willing to work with Canada on issues important to them would be strengthening the border, as we've been talking about for the last month, increasing funding for NATO, more presence in the Arctic to combat the Chinese and Russian presence. Those things, I think, open the pathway to solving issues that are important to Canada.
You say open the pathway, and we have seen this government essentially commit over $1 billion to improving border security. They've talked about billions of dollars for improving Arctic security. It creates a pathway, as you say, but will they avoid the tariffs altogether, do you think?
Well, there's no way I can sit here today and guarantee that, but I think that's the approach. I think Canada ought to be complimented on immediately taking this seriously, going to Florida, having meetings with President-elect Trump, having your ministers like Minister LeBlanc take a strong position, announce a $1.3 Canadian billion plan for securing or increasing the security on the border. Those are the right moves to make. There's no guarantee, but that, I think, is the right approach.
We are at this point in time in the midst of a change in leadership when it comes to the Liberal Party. As you know, Justin Trudeau has signaled that he will be stepping down as Prime Minister once a new leader is chosen by the Liberals come early March. I'm wondering how you think that affects the negotiations taking place right now, the discussions taking place right now. Do you think American officials are taking it seriously, or are they waiting for a changing of the guard before really focusing on those talks?
Well, again, there's no way I can tell you with any certainty what is going on. But my guess is certainly we are taking it seriously. We're engaging in good faith with our friends from Canada, and I also think that this new change in government, new change in Prime Minister, whether it be Liberal or Conservative, but I think that gives us a new beginning, a fresh start to really foster and build up this relationship and make it even stronger than it is today.
Mm-hmm. Now, Canadian officials are talking about retaliatory tariffs if things get bad between our two countries. What's your assessment of that strategy and that kind of talk at this point in the game?
Well, my opinion is that's not the right move. You don't. I don't think there's any reason to threaten that until you have to react to it. And so it certainly happened under Trump 1, when there were tariffs on Canadian aluminum. You did that, but I think right now we need to say we want to be a partner. Canada wants to be a partner. Canada wants to work to secure the border, to stop illegal immigrants, to stop illegal drugs, and not get in a retaliatory, you do this, we do that dialogue. I don't think that's helpful. I don't think that solves the problem.
Ambassador Wilkins, thank you for this. Appreciate the time on a very important day.
Sure. Good being with you. Thank you.